actually have a bill on earned wage access, and one of the things that is important is that, especially when we come to talking about lower income workers, that they have access to, that we expand access to financial services. But we're really concerned about making sure that we encourage an environment of sound fiscal decision making, right? Sound, economic practices. So on one hand, we want to make sure that people have access to being able to have emergency funds, especially low-wage folks. On the other hand, we don't want to make it where people are using these products to be able to, I guess, irresponsibly. And it's tough saying that because people should also have the right to be able to make certain types of decisions. So, we're wrestling with making sure that, how do we make sure that we encourage fair fiscal decision making? Yeah. And do you guys think about that?
I think it's a great point. One thing I think we need to consider is earned wage access is not the only tool that folks have. They have other options, and it's really like, it's not is this good or bad, it's like what are the pluses and minuses of this compared to other products. And when we ask our customers, like, what are the other products that you would be using if you weren't using earned wage access? It's credit cards, overdraft, and late fees on bills. And we think the downside risk of EWA is quite a bit better for them. The downside risk is essentially just not being able to have access to the service in the future. Whereas, you don't pay your electric bill, your electricity gets paid off. You don't pay a credit card, you get a $40 late fee, and that interest grows forever.
And what about thinking about limiting the amounts of times that folks are using this during a certain amount of period?
So
and next question is, do you guys talk to each other, right? What if I'm using my understanding of your business is integrated into the payroll system of a business, yours not, right? Are you guys talking to each other? So can people use both products at the same time?
So our terms and conditions require that which people have to sign and click say that they're not doing any other EWA platform. But I did want to also add that, so on our platform we have a free, we have everybody on our platform can access a nonprofit coaching and financial counseling and coaching session through, it's called the Coordinated Assistance Network. They're based in Florida. We were connected to them through America Saves, which is a nonprofit campaign to encourage people to save when they're able to afford to. So everyone on our platform, even if they don't make a transfer, has access to talking to someone from the Coordinated Assistance Network. We're also starting, I think, to try to insist that all of our client customers have somebody also internally, like a similar kind of financial counseling and coaching partner, if you will. That's something I feel like we could talk about. And I do think what Ben was saying too is that it's hard to look at this in a vacuum. Like, solving for income insufficiency is a very difficult thing, and there's no silver bullet. And a lot of times education is really a big part of it. And what we do is we save people money because otherwise they're going to be doing things that are so much more expensive.
I would just add that by the nature of the way the two companies are set up, we wouldn't really know that if our customer is also using Ryan's company, but we see what the customer takes home. So if they were taking home, we wouldn't know that they worked less and so they only made $200 this week, or if they worked $500 worth of pay but took $300 out from daily pay. But we would only base it on that $200, so they wouldn't be able to overextend themselves.
It's also something to look at too, to make sure that we're being, talking to each other as opposed to just terms and conditions.
So that's a major concern that we have is that that we are coordinating. If this allows to happen, that we're coordinating this, especially from the the business to business model or the business to customer model, that folks know that that this is not abused.
Yeah, I think just one last note on that. If something were like that were to happen and somebody were to access their same wages versus from multiple companies, because we absorb the downside risk, that customer would just be able to walk away with all of that money and they wouldn't have any adverse action. So it's actually in our incentive to ensure that doesn't happen because we absorb the risk.
And then also, we're the two largest companies, so there's a lot of opportunities for our customers to say, click here, I have to tell you, don't settle the transaction this week, or don't click here if you need help, click here if you need more time. And I feel like we're able to do that because of the size of our platforms, but I think that's another thing that we'd like, love to see in
Thank
industry
you.
best practices.